slapping out of tempo. Be hot.
All right. Good morning, YouTube.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
It's a great morning. Okay. We had a question, I think yesterday, it might have been the day before, something about how do we price for snow removal?
Oh, for like pushing back and moving snow. I saw that and I was gonna let you respond because I'm not pooling property. I'm Mr. Pooling Property or something on there. I'll comment once in a while. But basically, when we move snow, it's, unless it was like a residential driveway or something and somebody wants me to push back a bank and I just say, yeah,
X amount.
$50, $100, whatever it is. We're just by the hour.
For each piece of
equipment. So like the other day we had, the big skid steer and the loader running. There's 2 loaders. And then the next time we're down there, we're going to have a truck or 2 running, and that's an hourly rate. So we just do it by the hour.
But speaking of by the hour, I mean, not that this is by the hour, but we're going to take you along with us today. We are going to bid some more properties. So let's go.
Off we go.
You're full of it today.
Driving my life away. Yeah, because what did I do yesterday? Oh, I drove 4 hours yesterday and moved all that equipment. Now I'm driving, this will be 2 hours plus the driving around looking at the property. And then I'm going to get home and be there for a couple hours and then drive another hour or so to Bentley's basketball game. So
a day in the life.
Just driving around. And Samantha wants me to get rid of the Tahoe for another work truck. I call bull donk. Bull cucka.
All right, Joe. We just drove around. We looked at all the properties and now we're stopping.
I don't think the car in front of us knew that the car in front of them was turning.
I don't think so either. That was quite abrupt.
I thought they were going to hit them. We were plenty ways away, but I thought I was going to be running through a wreck. Just drive through the smoke.
But yes, let's think spring, right? Let's think bidding.
Yes, 100% spring.
Yes, spring. Okay.
Now where are they going?
I don't know. The people in front of us are not doing a great job driving. I'm glad you're paying attention. You look ahead. I'll hold the camera.
All right, driving.
Okay. So the way we do it, and it, if it's a residential house close to us, which we do not do a lot of residential mowing, you can go online, scope out the acreage, and you have, your, how would you say, per hour rate? Per acre rate.
Yeah, I don't
for mowing.
Residential, but I don't do, obviously I like to have an idea on a big property how many hours we'd be there with how many people.
Right.
But more or less I can look at a property and I know how to figure it per acre. And it's worked out on everything we've done for the last couple of years doing it that way.
Yeah.
And last year I bumped my rate up and we're on the high end of what people would charge locally.
Yeah.
But that's the price of the service.
Yeah. We have a great
we're
crew.
Not the
we have new
lawn
nice
guy.
equipment.
Right. We're not the guy that, oh, my mower's broke, I can't get there this week. We're the guy that, oh, my mower broke, let me pull another one out of the trailer, or run home and grab the other spare, or, you know what I mean?
No excuses here at Pulling Property
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Flat tire on the trailer, great. If we don't have a spare tire for that trailer, grab the other trailer.
Right.
Grab the other truck.
We are going to show up. We are going to have all the equipment, and we're going to have our crew, and we're going to get it done.
We have twice the number of trimmers that we need. That's what you pay for, paying a little bit more. We're going to be there. We're going to do a clean job. If you have a problem, we're going to answer the phone. We're going to fix the problem. That's the difference.
But now moving on to commercial, I guess my first tidbit of info is if you're going to start bidding commercial, the first thing you need to do, or the first thing we do, is we print out their RFP, their request for a proposal, right? And we read all the fine print. We map out all the locations. We map.
You're saying commercial, not a commercial site. More or less, you're talking about municipal.
Yes, this is
multiple
true.
Locations.
Multiple locations. Town. Yeah.
Not commercial.
Clarify that. But we map out all the locations. We look at what their specs are, how often they, want things done. Are cleanups included? Is mulch included? Are you licensed? Are you doing fertilization? What else am I missing? Do they require any trimming of like shrubs and trees and whatnot throughout the year?
I was just lost in driving for a second, but but if you already said it, stop me. But insurance, make sure you have the proper insurance, because sometimes they require, you might have $1 million like liability. Some municipalities or big, larger commercial might require a 2 or a 5 million.
Right.
So make sure you have that, or price it out in advance to know what it would take if you got it. The trouble is, a lot of times, most of the time, you can't even bid on. If you send in a bid and you don't send a binder with it,
right,
you're not getting the job.
Right.
They want to see that you have that insurance coverage type now.
And then you have to think it's not just general liability. You're talking,
commercial auto.
You're talking workman's comp. So once you get in the commercial world, it is a bit more money, but it also costs more. The other thing that I will say, if you're going to start bidding commercial, is it is very specific. So read what the instructions say. It will give you a deadline that they have to receive your bid. It will tell you exactly how it needs to be written.
Envelope type.
Yes. And if one little detail is wrong, they will just throw it out. So attention to detail is everything when you're bidding municipality or commercial properties. Try and think. I think there was one more thing.
I think it's kind of a test to see
what
I think
type
of legitimacy and attention to detail your company has.
Mm-hmm.
If you show up and hand them a bar napkin with numbers scribbled on a crayon, clearly not what they're looking for. They want to see some legitimacy to the business.
Oh, I think you touched upon it, but that was the other thing I was thinking is references. Sometimes they can be very specific, include like a intro page with certain information about you, or a list of your equipment or your experiences or what have you. And the references, you want to make sure if you're bidding commercial, they want to see that you have references from commercial places.
It is a tough thing to do, to get into, because they will call and ask for references. So it's like, well, how the heck am I supposed to get into commercial if I don't have commercial references to get into commercial?
Right.
So it's a very fine line of finding the right foot in the door. And sometimes you kind of have to...
In about 10 miles at the roundabout, take the second exit.
Maybe taking a marginal, not so great, not hand over fist making $1 million your first year.
Grab like a gas station or
you
something.
Need to get a couple gas station accounts, or something like that they're like, yeah, sure. They're not looking for the big commercial what do you call it, references. Yep, they're not looking for that, but those in turn can be used. Like, listen, I've done 7 Irving gas stations for the last 2 years. They're super happy with me. I did 10 Dunkin' Donuts, and here you go. They're super happy with me. Now you have those little commercial references, but a history of commercial references for the big mall, outlet mall, condos. Like you have something to get you in there. For us, it was the cemeteries.
Yes.
The cemeteries and some other sites that we were friends with, a contractor that managed some commercial sites that we did landscaping in, and that was a huge step for us. So
And when it
You
comes,
just need to find that.
yes,
And be aware, like I said, the long game. Be aware you're not gonna go from Johnny mow your $20 lawn to next year you're gonna have a
$269 condo.
$500,000 contract.
Right. Not gonna happen. The other thing with references is make sure you're not just throwing some names and numbers down, because like Joe said, they will call. And make sure you call those references and say, hey, I'm looking to bid, I'm looking to grow, I was gonna put out some bids. Are you okay if I add your name and give your information? Because the last thing you want is...
And if you've treated them well, they are more than happy.
We've never had a problem. But if they call and they're like, yeah, they're all right, most of the time they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, they will call, they will say those things. Like, you need to be on your A game. And the other thing I was going to say is don't give up. Keep bidding, keep searching for bids. Go, Facebook, join groups, go on Google and just search mowing bids. Look on your state site.
You can pay for some sites that...
Yeah, we've never done that, but you can.
Scour, like if anybody even does anything other than go on their phone anymore, scour the newspapers or the local,
Yeah, the little
whatever.
local business, it's not really a newspaper. Like is it the New London thing?
Oh, yeah.
Or CareStar's Shopper.
Yeah. And we don't...
A lot of the
I
town...
don't go through it, but a lot of people, will see something and send it to Samantha or I. Like, hey, you guys should do this. You guys would be great at this.
But I will say that, like, a lot of town stuff, like cemetery mowing and stuff, they list online, but as far as I'm aware and everything that I've experienced, they still have to post, and they will throw it in, like, your little town shopper or whatever you call it, bids until whatever for a town, whatever. And the other thing I wanted to point out is consider when you want to go to commercial bidding and commercial work, can you service and provide those services that they need year round? Because if you're talking like condos or malls or something, they prefer typically, not always,
even if it's
one contact for all their mowing, all their bark mulch, all their plowing, which is why when we started out, it was wonderful.
Which is why I have to still plow. I would not offer plowing services if it wasn't for the fact that we have...
Joe is over plowing.
We have the good summer contract in the condos, and with that, I take the winter because, it's hand in hand. It's nice for them.
But that puts me right into what I was going to say.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. For us, that's why we love mowing town stuff, like cemeteries and whatnot, because those are summer contracts. They are not year round. Granted, you're not getting your monthly check in the winter time, but we can focus on like a big plow contract and then have all that work in the summer, and it's not overloading us year round.
I will say there's a flip to that on the smaller commercial stuff, like where we said to start.
Yeah.
If you're in a small town and you mow the 7 Irvings or what have you, you might not have to plow them, because if you can maybe even work hand in hand with, I'm not saying sub the work necessarily, I'm saying even like, hey, John Smith, the roofer, typically doesn't do a lot of roofing in the winter, and he plows.
Right.
He's not mowing competition. So
Right.
if you know that you can work with somebody like that, like, hey, he's going to plow these gas stations, I'm going to mow them. But what you don't want to do and what you want to avoid is why I'm plowing in the condos is like, you don't want to say, I'll mow them for you and they'll be amazing, but I'm not going to plow them. Because that opens the door for some company to come in that will do both.
Right.
Something large like that, you're not going to have the John Smith, roofer.
Right.
You're
going to have a full-blown landscape company.
You're going to have a full-service landscape company come in to do a property that big. You can get away with it with the smaller stuff in the smaller towns.
Yeah.
Because they're concrete guys, roofers, carpenters, that in the wintertime supplement with plowing.
Yes.
that aren't going to come in and try to undercut you mowing.
So I think we touched a little bit on everything.
I do have one quick thing.
Okay.
This isn't a, hey, go push for commercial. This is a, if you want to push for commercial, some tips of what we've learned over the years. Commercial isn't necessarily the answer for everybody. Your location, your business size, your personal goals of a business size. If you want to stay at one, you want to be solo or a two-man crew, and you're in an area that you can go bang out, 10, 15 lawns a day or 40 lawns a week or however you want to break it up, if that's where you can make the money that you need to make, that's great. Do that. Residential's, it's fun, it's nice, it's whatever. But if you want to take that second step to be the 5-man, the 10-man, the 20-man operation, you're gonna have to get into commercial unless you're in a large enough area that you can go put multiple. You can be doing 60 to 100 lawns a day with all those crews. Yeah. We're not in a location like that. You have to have the commercial stuff to have that crew size. I don't think we ever want to be over 10.
No, I don't think so. That doesn't seem like fun for me.
You stop making money for yourself and you're just stressing yourself to have everybody busy.
And it's hard to hire people, and we're not in a highly populated area, so that is...
You're lucky if you can get one or two guys that can be another you.
Right.
You can trust that they're going to go out and get the job done, or make sure the people under them are getting the job done the way your company would stamp the approval on. It's hard to find those few people.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have, our nephew Harvey is learning our ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And he's molding into that position of, he can go mow, and I know that it's going to be mowed the way we would want it mowed, sort of thing. So,
and then we're lucky enough to have Christian, who you can tell him anything. We pulled up to if you saw, I forget how big it is, but the huge hill, it's wicked soft. You can barely walk on it. You cannot put any equipment on it. You have to weed whack the entire thing, and it takes hours.
And we're all like, oh man,
and we pull up and we're like, oh my god, it's 90 degrees, this is crazy, okay, let's get through this. And Christian's just like, okay, we got this, too easy.
Yeah, that kid is just, you couldn't ask him to do anything that would make him grumpy. He would just do it.
Yep.
If you gave him a pair of scissors and said trim this property,
he freaking would. He'd be like, okay, do you think I can do that in 4 hours?
Because then I'm going for a run.
Right, because then I'm going to put on my sneakers and go run for 5 miles. Because that's what he does every single day. But so we're super lucky, but I don't think we're in an area that we have enough variety or enough quantity that we could grow our company to 10 or 20 people and have that quality for each one.
Exactly.
So I think that would be silly.
You start losing quality when you start getting that big.
Yeah. But all right, well, I hope this helped. Thought we'd just kind of take you along. That's what we were doing this morning. Maybe we answered some questions. Maybe we inspired you to go a little bigger. Throw in the comments if you have certain questions for us. I respond to everything, or I really try. And if I don't know the answer, I ask him. So
if I don't know the answer, I Google it and then tell you I knew all along. Just kidding.
But thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out all the snow plowing videos recently. We might have a few more coming up. It looks like a little bit of here and there. And we'll just keep bringing you all this fun.
Quick last thing. Back to just, if I don't know it, I'll Google it. No. What I do know and what I do pass along to you isn't because I'm overly confident that I'm some super smart, great business guy, that I know how to do everything. I have made a lot, and I'm talking a lot of mistakes in trying different things throughout life and businesses and work and working for other people. Making so many mistakes, but being smart enough to not repeat them has got us where we are. So when I try to pass stuff along like this, it's because I already made the mistakes and I'm trying to save you guys from doing the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot the biggest tip. Probably one of the biggest.
Drive fast, drink milk?
No.
Oh.
Probably the biggest tip to help you if you're not already aware. It will not help you in stuff like gas stations or condos or whatnot. But if you do go after like town work, all those numbers, all the budget.
In 1 mile at the roundabout, take the second exit.
Previous years, that is all public knowledge. So what we do, we go through, we do the hours, we do the acreage, we do our formula, and we figure out in a year with mows, with cleanups, with mulch, whatever their specs are, how much our price would be to make a profit.
Last year, but
and then we compare that to the budget. It's not just usually given to you, and a lot of times in all the little line items, it's like a little piece of here and there. If you're talking like, you know, town office and ball field and cemetery, comes from different places. So when I see a request for bid online, one of the first things I do is find the email, and I email them and I just say, you know, what was the budget for this work last year? So that way I can see, okay.
Or what was paid out last year.
Or, yeah, what was paid out last year.
What you're asking us to do in this RFP.
Right, what was paid out.
Total paid out.
Because you can say, okay, in my mind, this is 30. Their budget last year was 28. And I will say with town stuff, they usually go with like bottom dollar. So Joe and I might be like, okay, let's meet in the middle at 29. They're either going to meet us in the middle or it's not worth it.
Like the last one we bid on, we were hands down, and I'm not being cocky, hands down overqualified and way more qualified than the other company.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
$100 or $1,000?
$200.
They went $200 cheaper.
The kicker.
Than somebody that's never done it before.
The kicker is Joe had a price, and I said, to make this worth it, it's going to be this. So I went in the middle of our two prices. If I had just done what Joe told me to, we would have had that contract. But every other time, it's always worked with Joe and I meeting in the middle. But, you know, you can't win them all. But all right, YouTube, we are peacing out. I hope you have a great Friday.
She's about to yell at me the way I went.
No. Well, I mean, I see what you're doing.
Into the dealership because it's like
turn left onto Sawyer Avenue.
Have fun. We'll see you next time. Take care and keep bidding. Peace out, YouTube.